It's really gratifying when people respond to something that you've written because it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not crazy. Other people feel this way.
Estás escuchando Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.
Alan, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I think. Good. Been running around, but we got here.
Yeah.
I got here in the end. So you're in Barcelona, largely celebrating 20 years since the final episode of 6 Feet Under.
I believe so, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Old. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy to think it's been 20 years. At the same time, sometimes it feels like just yesterday. So,
I have to say, it is, and no exaggeration, one of my favourite series ever.
Oh, thank you.
Really enjoyed it so much. And also, I felt it was quite revolutionary in a way, in the way it looked at death. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
I would. I don't think that was necessarily planned. The idea of doing a show about a family-run funeral home was pitched to me by HBO, and I thought it was a great idea, and so I just sort of went with it. I don't think in terms of like, is this revolutionary or how is this going to play? I think the fact, though, that it's just, takes place in an environment in which death is always present, organically was new in terms of, I don't think there had been a show that was that much about death and or the people who we pay to face death for us.
Do you think we have quite an unhealthy relationship with death, particularly in the Western world?
It's definitely more fear-based than it is in other cultures. I remember the first time I went to Bali, I was fortunate enough to watch a Balinese funeral, which was a procession with a body on a big thing with a bunch of flowers, and then they set it down and set fire to it. And nobody was crying. In fact, it was almost like a party. And I think I attribute that to the fact that they have such a fundamental belief in reincarnation that it wasn't the end. It was just, okay, well, that's the end of that chapter for grandpa or whatever. And I think we go to great pains here, not here in Barcelona, in America, to deny death and the fact that, everybody gets plastic surgery and you end up people. I remember we were casting the role of Ruth for 6 Feet Under, and all these actresses would come in looking like this, and I would just be like, well, no, she would not have plastic surgery. She's not a woman who is an actress in LA trying to disguise the fact that she's getting older. She's just a woman who has a family.
Am I right in saying you are Buddhist or you have Buddhist beliefs? Is that?
I meditate daily.
Mm-hmm.
I read some books about Buddhism. I listen to some audio books about Buddhism. I wouldn't say I'm a very good one, but I practice daily. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like it has been helpful for me in terms of managing anxiety in my life.
If this question is too personal, then please feel free to ignore it. But do you believe in reincarnation, for example?
I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of it, but who knows? I can't fully believe in something that I have not seen some sort of evidence of. I mean, I've had mystical experiences where once in college I studied theater. I wanted to be an actor, like everybody. And it was a costume. It was a period play. And it was when men wore paper collars, I think around the turn of the century, into the 20th century, and the costumer was explaining to me how to make it work, and I somehow I knew. I just took it. I took it, and it was like second nature. And where did that come from? I don't know. But it's fun to think about. But if there isn't reincarnation and there's just nothing, well, then I won't care. So.
So were there people at the time of 6 Feet Under? Were there some people who were like, in a funeral home, you cannot have a series set in a funeral home?
I did not get that. The idea for the show was pitched to me by HBO. But I do remember right around the time it was going to premiere, a lot of people wringing their hands and saying, how are we going to market this show? It's so dark. And I remember thinking, really? Is it really that dark?
I mean, for me, that's one of the things I like about it, because death is everywhere. Death is omnipresent.
Yeah.
And there are some very, very heavy moments in it, of course. Oh, yeah. But there's lots of humor. There's lots of life, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
You, when you were younger, you spent a lot of time in funeral homes.
There was a period where a lot of people in my family died one right after the other. So I spent a lot of my early adolescence in funeral homes. So I was aware of the surrealness of those spaces. And I think that's one of the reasons when the idea was pitched to me, I had a reaction of like, I can see that. I can see that that world.
Did that ever make it hard to film, though? I mean, because you're in a place which, set, but obviously, made us a place that we associate with difficult times, probably.
It did not make it hard for me to film because I was always very aware that it was make-believe. That's not to say I didn't get emotional. I got emotional when I wrote the last episode and everybody died in it. I got emotional when we were shooting it. I shed some tears, when I yelled cut for the last time. But I think that's all legitimate. I don't think it was about death. It was about, this place that I come to every day and work with these amazing people and have so much fun, that's over. And that's what the grief was about. And it wasn't even really grief. It was just like sadness.
I wanted to ask about the ending, actually, because as was the case 20 years ago, I was watching episode by episode, and I think it aired at the same time the UK as it did in the US, roughly. Mm-hmm. And everyone was very excited about how it was going to end, mm-hmm. and, because it had been part of our lives for many years. Did you get stressed about the ending? I mean, we put such an emphasis on these things, I know.
I didn't. I wasn't thinking about, what I don't think about how things are going to be received, because I just find that to be really distracting, and it makes my brain grind to a halt. I do feel like, it was the most appropriate ending for the show that there could have been, even though I didn't know that was how it was going to end coming into it. We were in the writer's room and we were talking about how are we going to end the show, and somebody, not me, said we should just kill everybody. And everybody laughed. It's like, that's funny. But then I thought, no, actually, yes, we should be with each character at the moment of their death, because how else can you end this show?
That's what I liked so much about it, because I obviously had no idea how it was going to end. But when it did end that way, I thought that was how it had to end. That was inevitable, mm-hmm. that we see the death, basically. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that when I saw it 20 years ago, True Blood as well, I watched, on TV, episodes mm-hmm. coming out every week. There'd be a break between seasons. Mm-hmm. Obviously now, largely things are available to watch straight away. I know there's, a companies are doing other things, dropping one episode a week, but a lot of things are available to watch straight away.
Sure.
What do you do? Are you a binger, or do you kind of...
Both. I mean, if something is available, I am a binger. I'll sit there and recently I sat and watched 3 episodes of The Diplomat and then watched 3 episodes the next night. There are shows I'm watching, though, that only drop once a week. So I watch those as well. I do like a good binge, but sometimes, it's not available.
As someone who makes television, do you ever think how you would like people to watch things? Or is it's just that, people can kind of be happy?
I mean, it's really gratifying when people respond to something that you've written because it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not crazy. Other people feel this way, But in terms of thinking about how people are going to respond to it, again, it just feels like a trap to me because then you start trying to tailor it to how you want people to respond. And there's a level of dishonesty in that. It's more marketing than it is writing. So I don't think about those things. There are plenty of other people who are thinking about those things and they will let you know. But I don't.
What are you watching at the moment? Can I ask for a recommendation?
Let's see. I still have... Oh, I think I finished Slow Horses. I did. I finished it. Just watched The Diplomat. Just watched a sweet Danish show called The Asset, which was good. There was a recent show, it's not airing now, though, called House of Guinness, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I've been watching that, yes.
Yeah, it's fun. I watched The Morning Show as kind of a guilty pleasure, like I used to watch Dynasty, and just sort of laugh at it. And everybody's so rich and always threatening each other, and it's kind of funny. I loved The Pit. I thought that was really good. I'm watching some comedies that I think are really good. One is called The Chair Company, which is on HBO Max now. One is on Hulu called English Teacher, which is really good. And then there's a Netflix comedy. It's kind of a romantic comedy called Nobody Wants This, which I'm enjoying. Those are the things right now, I think.
A few of my favorites. You've got to go. I know. One more question, if I may. Why do you think 6 Feet Under made such an impact?
I mean, I think it made death a little safe for people to watch. We've always been fascinated and terrified by death, and we've always... You think about the hellmouths of the 15th century or whatever. There's always been a way to sort of have an artificial experience where you're scared and you think you might die, like amusement park rides or haunted houses or things like that. Because we're fascinated by it because we all know it's going to happen to us, but it's so scary that some maybe watching a show about people who take care of death for the rest of us makes it a little less frightening, a little less terrifying existentially. I don't know. That's just conjecture on my part.
Well, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
taking the time, and have a lovely time in Barcelona.
Thank you. I think I will.
You will.
Estás escuchando Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.